All right. Hey there. Good morning. I am meteorologist Ben Peine here. It is May the 28th and happy hump day to you. We've got some scattered light rain showers around. You can see this as we cut to the outdoor camera. It is gloomy once again here in New Albany, Indiana. You're looking there at Market and Vincennes at some wet pavement. It's like Groundhog Day, the movie. It's like, what is up with this May where we just continue to have these rain chances, these periodic rain chances across the area? It certainly can be frustrating if you're wanting to get some things done outside. This is a look at some of the scattered rain that we have across the area, and I am just making sure everything is up and good, and it is looking good as we check out the live stream here on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, by the way. If you're popping in here on my Meteorologist Ben Peine page, and again, that is P-E-I-N-E, or if you're hopping in on Extol Weather, we're live there on Facebook. We're live on extolmag.com/weather and Extol Media on YouTube. So thanks for joining us here this morning on what is, again, just a little bit of a rainy start. Now, I do expect some drier conditions as we go into the afternoon. I'm hoping for some peaks of sunshine. Looks like there's some breaks in the clouds out to our west. This upper level low pressure system, unfortunately, keeping a few rain chances around for now. But notice that break out west. You've got all of this that we're hoping to give us a dry Thursday before we get the next batch of rain to move in Thursday evening through early Friday. So the weather pattern, we're just getting these little breaks, but hoping for a bit of a break in the activity for later this afternoon. You can see that drier air just out to our west. So thanks for popping in early this morning. We'll see who's tuning in first. As always, it seems like there's Beverly Haggis from Borden, Indiana. Made it already back from the MRI. Hopefully everything went well for you there, Beverly. And Judy Tyndall. Oh yeah, I can pop up the comments there. There's Beverly, and we've got Judy. Have a good day to you as well, Judy. All right, let me go ahead and go off of the full screen mode here, and let's give a shout out to some folks. Our partners and sponsorships here in Southern Indiana, Sellersburg Spotlight. You can go to this landing page. Just go to ivytech.edu. You go to locations right here, go to Sellersburg, and I'm very happy with what Ivy Tech has done for my daughter. She's got over 30 college credits already. She graduates this week as a senior from Borden High School and is heading to IU with a head start. Again, thanks to Ivy Tech and their programs and their partnerships with schools across Southern Indiana. And then if you're already in a career, you want to make a change in a career, they can help you out with how to pay for college and also look at all the different programs offered there. 42 programs offered there at the Sellersburg Ivy Tech campus. Lions Roofing in the house right now, actually, and they have a job opening, roofing repair technician. If you want to give them a call, 812-294-3595. They can give you a free estimate. It's been a super busy spring season for the roofing industry in Southern Indiana because of the March hailstorm and because of more storms that we had through April and May. So they can give you the free estimate and let you know when they can make that happen. But you can learn a lot more about this family-owned business here out of Memphis, Indiana. And what I've learned is that in the roofing industry, if you have a big storm in one area like Southern Indiana with all the hail damage, you'll have companies coming in from Ohio, Northern Indiana, Tennessee, and you just don't have the trust that you can have with a local business. So locally owned here, Lions Roofing. That is 812-294-3595. Speaking of job openings, Libs Paving, libspaving.com. That is L-I-B-S paving.com. Head to their upper right-hand corner and look at all of these job openings right here. So they're out of Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. A very professional company, great folks over there. I talk about the weather with them pretty much every day. So check that out if you know somebody looking for an opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, NWSB, newwashbank.com. People you know wherever you go, banking the way you want. So if you're looking for a mortgage, a home equity line of credit, just a new way to bank here. They've got a great program online, banking the way you want right here. I bank with them. Extol Media banks with them, so they have been an awesome partnership. So that's also a reminder here to myself that if you would like to partner up, so easy to do. Right there's the contact information, ben@extolmag.com, ben@extolmag.com, or jason@extolmag.com. Or if you just want to send me a hello, or if you have a weather question, you want more information about the weather, feel free to send me an email right there. Of course, I check that every day. Over 2 million views per month over the last 90 days has been our average just with our weather on my pages. It does not include our other platforms as well. So here we are in New Albany, Indiana, live with the gloomy conditions across the area once again. Hey, we got Dee Dee Lyons popping in this morning. Good morning, Dee Dee. And Vicki Berger, hello this morning. Gloomy day here in Salem. Yeah, pretty gloomy everywhere so far as we get started on this Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, May 28th. We're looking at so again, some rain around the area this morning. It'll only be kind of isolated later on today as it does turn drier later this afternoon. We're hoping for enough sunshine, by the way, that we should be able to get up to the 70s later this afternoon. This will give us a little window of dry time through Thursday afternoon. And then by Thursday night, we'll have some more rainfall moving back in to our forecast. We're going to look at that as we dig into the weather model data, as we always do for you weather enthusiasts, weather nerds out there. We typically really start to dive deep into the weather models around 10:20, but we'll get the forecast up here for you first. And the little quick bird nerd segment as well. So we've got to do that real quick. And I've got a shout out to my buddy once again this morning in Miami, Florida. He's given me he's turned into a bird nerd as well. I hooked him up with the Merlin app a few weeks ago, and now I get the daily morning update from Miami, Florida. All right, so I'll just bring up the map here. Let me add this. Let me remove that. Add that. Here we go. So this is mine and Miami's, I believe. So this is from the Merlin app. So on the left, that's what I had this morning. The American crow, the blue-gray gnatcatcher, the easternwood pewee. The reason why we're showing you some birds is because this is still peak migration season. You might see some rare birds that don't come through very often. I thought it was interesting. I had the purple martin, and so did my buddy Derek down in Miami this morning. The eastern phoebe, the Carolina wren, the tufted titmouse. On the right-hand side of your screen, that is the bird report from Miami, Florida this morning. The eastern towhee, we get some of those. They're kind of rare to see. They had the woodpecker, the Egyptian goose, which I've never heard of, the boat-tailed grackle. You see those grackles when you're on vacation. And some of the normal birds that we have down there. And that was his sunrise there in Miami, Florida. He's looking off to the east. There you can see the sunrise. And I think those clouds are there pretty often there along the shore. And you do have at nighttime, you've got an offshore flow. So there's some convergence there. Sometimes you'll wake up in the morning if you're on a vacation, you'll see some clouds right off the coastline. And then you get onshore flow if you're at the beach during the day, because the land heats up faster. You get a rising current. You get low pressure over the land, so the air is coming off the beach. That's why when you're at the beach, you always have kind of that breeze coming in off the ocean. And then at nighttime, that switches. You get the offshore flow and some clouds off in the distance there. Thanks to Derek Gelber, high school buddy of mine, sharing some birds and clouds this morning from Miami. Here's the forecast for us today. 73 degrees, mostly cloudy. We have some spotty light rain showers around now. This is going to become more isolated later today. West wind at around 5 to 10, sunset at almost 9 p.m., 8:58. We're going to do a tour of the live radar here in just a second with what's out there now. Mostly dry afternoon, we'll call it lower 70s. I'm giving it about a 30% chance of that isolated shower. So if you do have some after school events going on, I know there's sectionals, playoff time for high school sports, Just that isolated rain chance, but pretty comfortable temperatures and a light wind from the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tonight, low 61 degrees, mostly dry, partly cloudy, light west wind, and our sun up at 622. And tomorrow's forecast here, as we say hello to Big Happy this morning, get a swig of the coffee. For our tomorrow, Thursday, May 29th, we're looking at a dry start to the day. Looks like dry through the daytime, and then bet on some rain moving in tomorrow night. Mike Sievert popping in from Middletown. Good morning to you with the sunshine icon. We're trying to get some peaks of sunshine in here later on today, Mike. Thanks for joining us. 7-day forecast. We're going to give that 40% chance of rain for tomorrow evening. Again, pretty dry during the day for your Thursday. And before that rain moves in tomorrow night, comfortably warm, a high of 78. And then behind that system, we still have some showers around Friday, but not a washout. I think early morning Friday is wet. I think we'll probably get a break later in the day Friday before maybe late day evening chance of some showers and a high of 71 there. So a bit cooler Friday, mostly cloudy. Now this weekend, a weak front tries to move in Saturday, just giving a 20% chance with that. Looking nice though with 77 and 78 for Saturday and Sunday. And then maybe a warm front lifting to the north Sunday with a small chance of a shower. And then that opens the door as we head into June for June-like conditions. So June 1st, Sunday, and then that warming trend commencing 83 Monday, 86 Tuesday, and perhaps the warmest we've seen so far this year is 88. So we got a question here about the cup. Vicky Berger, what do you decide to do about Big Happy Cups? I want one. Oh, yeah, we were going to give them out. So Mike Sievert says, about time. I'll let you know. Stay tuned, Vicky, what we're going to do, because we do have some of those to give out. We're going to regroup about our Big Happy Cup giveaway. So about time for summer to kick in. It is about time. Typically, we hit 90 degrees by May 31st, and we have not done that. So it has been a slow roll with the warming conditions this time around. And again, we'll take another look outside before we do a tour of the radar. There you can see the gloomy conditions that we have all throughout the area. And let me go ahead and bring up the radar program. I'm going to bring up the live radar. This is a looping radar. The live radar is, is higher definition. And there we go. I'll pop me back up in the bottom left corner here as well. So this takes just a second to load that live scan. And let me take off the labels there. And we should have it popping in here in just a second. Let me try one more time. We may have a radar down. If not, we'll go to a different product here. Okay, there we go. So we have just some sprinkly activity out there as we look around. Let me go ahead and go full screen. So our best shower at the moment is up here between Salem and Brownstown, Indiana, where we're getting a moderate pocket around Medora, just east of Campbellsburg, heading towards Crothersville. And then you've got sprinkly stuff around Louisville, and then sprinkles and some drizzle down through central Kentucky as well to the Bluegrass Western Kentucky Parkways. And then some heavier pockets of rain heading toward, from Illinois into Indiana towards Indianapolis. Go out of full screen here. We can perhaps do a little bit of a loop with this. That one is not wanting to loop. Let me go to having fun with computers this morning. There's our little loop. So you see a lot of clouds around, but if you look closely, let me go full screen, get my face out of the way here. Notice this is why I'm hoping for some peaks of sunshine. We get this batch of rain to move off to the east and northeast. A little bit later on this morning and into the afternoon, we're hoping to break out into some peaks of sunshine. So that is the hope for later on today, with only an isolated shower chance later on. But this is connected to, as we look at the full screen, just some unsettled weather over the eastern half of the United States. We've got upper level low pressure system just off to our northeast. That is this guy right here. We've talked, last 2 months, we've talked a lot about upper level low pressure systems, and it's just this gradual swirl in a counterclockwise motion that keeps things just a bit unsettled. You get more rain out here. They are hot and dry out west. So that is the look at the nation's weather there. And then they've got a bunch of rain down here, down in southeastern Texas along the coastline. Florida's been wanting rainfall. They've been pretty dry so far 2025. All right, let me go out of full screen mode here, and we'll go ahead and bring up the weather model data. As we look into the future real quick, I know with any rain chance, some folks get a little bit nervous about any severe weather. The severe weather chance, as you can see, well off to the south and to the west, and those are only marginal to slight risk, and no risk of severe weather for us. And as we go to day 2, no risk of severe weather for us, very low risk all across the continental United States. As we go to day 3, so now we're looking at Friday, and that risk is off to the southeast. No risk for us for any severe weather, and then nothing for day 4 there. So not worried about that. And then as we turn on the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook. So this is what Mike Sievert is looking for. He says the heat is on. Looks like the warm up is coming our way. So this is going to back up with some of the weather model data that I'll show you here in just a second through the long range. But notice the orange shows above normal chances of above normal temperatures from the Climate Prediction Center. And this is definitely a weather pattern shift as we get a ridge of high pressure to build in, and then they get that trough out west, that digging in the jet stream over the western United States, so they get the cooler air. So weather pattern shift to summer-like right on time as June begins next week. So that's from the Climate Prediction Center. That's a 6 to 10 day outlook. Out to the 14-day outlook, it still looks like warmer than normal trend. So for all you folks that want to lay by the pool, want to get out in the lakes, starting to warm up that weather model. I know some of the fishing starts to get better as well, so we can start to warm things up. So definitely a weather pattern shift towards summer-like conditions as we head into next week. Looking at the future radar here, this is starting off with the NAM 3 kilometer. I'm going to go to the, I'll keep it on the NAM 3 kilometer. So this is basically right now, showing a few of these spotty showers around, more of that rain to the north. So I would say, you know, the weather model is doing a pretty good job of depicting what's actually happening in reality here. And we'll go into the afternoon. So this is at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock with the NAM 3 kilometer weather model. You can see it is mainly dry across the area. Just a little bit of a blip of green. So this indicates mostly dry conditions with only an isolated shower chance. So if you're watching that replay later on this afternoon, by the way, thank you for watching the replay, and feel free to drop in a comment. I'll check them out later on, whether it's this afternoon or later on tonight. But we'll give you the weather model as well if you're watching live or not live. Here we go. Into the afternoon. This is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Little bit of activity trying to pop up out to the west at 5. Here is 6, 7, and 8 p.m. So perhaps, if you believe this weather model, we're pretty dry through the afternoon. As we head towards sunset, we might get this little disturbance moving through to give us a chance for a couple of these isolated showers as we head towards evening time. So sunset's now at 9 p.m. this map right here is at 9 p.m. tonight. I would give it overall a 30% chance of that shower for the rest of today. That was at 10 p.m. Here is 11 p.m. Those just kind of random, scattered about, isolated chance of a shower. And then once we head till later on tonight, we're going to start to dry things up. I'll go to around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning around sunrise. Have you noticed the early sunrises, by the way? Have you been up that early? 6:22 is the sunrises. We are getting the longest days of the year now through the beginning of summertime, which is only 23 days away, June 20th, the beginning of summertime. All right, into lunchtime in the afternoon tomorrow, we are dry. But look what's out to the west. That'll be tomorrow night when we start to see that move our direction. I'm going to pause it here at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we're looking mainly dry through the daytime tomorrow, but we're just watching that batch out to the west on when it will arrive. I'm going to pop ahead a few hours to 6 p.m. tomorrow on your May the 29th. And notice it getting a little bit closer here. This is at 6 p.m. Jump ahead a couple hours to 8 o'clock. The heavy rain still out to the west. It might not be late until late tomorrow night where we start to see that heavier rain spread in. But as we head towards evening time, the rain chance is ramping up for our Thursday night. It's at 10 p.m. And as we go to the overnight and early Friday morning, this is when that rain starts to pick up. And some of the data has been showing this. Let me go full screen. I'll get myself out of the way. So this is late Thursday night into early Friday morning. So right around midnight or later, notice some of that heavy rainfall. Not expecting severe weather with this, by the way, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but it looks like Kentucky trending heavier with this next batch Thursday night into early Friday, heavier than southern Indiana is the latest track that we're looking at right now. So that right there is stopped at 1 a.m. early Friday morning. And that goes to the end of the NAM 3-kilometer weather model. So that is the wee hours of Friday morning there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Going to the HER 48 hour, it also has this rain moving in late tomorrow night. I'm going to stop this at 8. So this is 8 p.m. on the high resolution rapid refresh weather model. And so dry through the daytime. This is, again, looking at just a little different high resolution weather model. 10 p.m. tomorrow, 11 p.m. And then as we go to 2 o'clock early Friday morning, there you can see that heavier batch of rain. So both weather models picking up on a heavy batch of rain late tomorrow night into early Friday morning. It has most of this gone, though, by around sunrise. This is 8 a.m. Friday. Notice that heavy batch moves into Ohio and moving out of our area. So there is some rain around early Friday, but the heavy stuff starting to move off to the east. So now we've got to go to the GFS high resolution weather model so we can go out to a little bit longer out. But it matches up very well too. So this is at 8 o'clock Friday morning, May the 30th. And then notice that heavy rain moving off to the east. So there still could be some showers on the very backside of this system here for Friday, but it looks drier in the afternoon. So I've got like a 60% chance of rain going Friday, not going to be a washout, however. So that there is our Friday. Looks like it's going to be a little bit cool with clouds, some showers, highs around 70 degrees for Friday after upper 70s tomorrow. All right, so this is going into our Saturday. And so Saturday, it should be mainly dry as well. So this is Saturday at 11 a.m. If you have some weekend plans, we're starting to go into the weekend. What I've noticed here, there's a weak front that starts to develop over us and could bring I got a 20% chance of a shower going for Saturday as this weak front moves through the area. It's almost kind of like a backdoor front coming in from the north and northeast instead of from the west, northwest, kind of coming in from a different direction there. call that a backdoor front. All right, so then as we go into Sunday, that front starts to lift back north as a warm front. And notice now the GFS shows a small shower chance Sunday. The European weather model is all dry, so we'll see if this even happens. But the good part about this warm front Sunday is the gate that opens up to the June warmth and the dry weather as well. So as we go into, we're going to hop ahead to June 3rd. Here we go, June 3rd. And we're going to put up the temperatures here, which matches up with the Climate Prediction Center's temperatures as well. And this is going to be conservative, I think. Look at these 90s down south. Summertime starting to win out. I'm definitely a summer lover. I love the heat. So here we go. Plenty of warmth heading our direction. So the cool air, you can see, goes up to the northwest, and then summer starting to win out here. So we are starting to get this nice flow from the south by the middle of next week. That should put our temperatures above normal. We're talking maybe mid to upper 80s. Let me clear that out and zoom back in here. So this is June the 3rd. This is next Tuesday. That is the summer-like conditions on the way for next week. Big time heat down over the south. They're looking at 90s, and at least feeling like the 90s down over the deep south. Let's go into our June 4th. So this is going to be next Wednesday. It does look like that warm air is still right over the top of us. So you can see that change in the weather pattern as we zoom way out here. So you've got cool air over the northwest. So you've got this trough digging down in the jet stream that direction. And then this big ridge over our area. So this ridge, we talk about that hump in the jet stream just starts to fill in with the warm summer-like conditions. So that is a strong signal for above normal temperatures next week, right on time as we head into the month of June. We've got a few comments popping in here. So we've got Brenda Sanders, so sick of the rain. We're sick of that view right there. It's cloudy all day yesterday. Had the morning rain. And then it was drier yesterday afternoon. I had time to service my mower, get that done. I gave the generator an oil change as well. So I need some new tires on my mower too. So I have to hop over to Tractor Supply and see if they've got the right the wheels and tires for the mower. JK's, I'm late to the dance once again, but you made it to the dance. Fashionably late here, JK's. Thanks for tuning in. And Vicky Berger tuning in. I love summer too. Wish I was on the beach. Me too. We were thinking about checking out the Indiana Dunes there in Lake Michigan later this year. Has anybody been there? But I know it takes a little while for that Lake Michigan water to warm up. But that's going to help out the pools and the lakes across the area next week. Look at that. Just feast your eyes on summer starting to win the battle here. All right. Let me go back to the radar and satellite, what we have happening now, and see if I can bring up the live radar. The live radar has been a little pesky here. See if it'll want to load or not. So we're waiting. Let me turn off my little drawing here. All right. And so we got just some spotty stuff as we look here at the radar view. Yeah, the live scan's having a little trouble this morning. No biggie, we're still looking at radar. All right, so we have just some showers here as we zoom in a little bit closer. Those showers now heading into the Crothersville area. Austin getting clipped by some of that rain. I can go ahead and go to full screen here. You can see that rain north of Salem. Brownstown getting some of that moderate rain heading towards Seymour, Indiana, over I-65. And then you just got sprinkles there around Livonia, just to the west of Pekin. And pretty quiet right now over Charlestown and New Albany and Jeff. And areas out to the west towards Corden, Leavenworth, Milltown, starting to dry things out a bit more. And then some spotty sprinkles off to the south in Breckinridge County in Kentucky, and also here in Marion and Washington counties around Lebanon and Springfield, and over towards Shelbyville, Mount Washington, some sprinkly stuff. So not a big deal with that rainfall that we have out there now. And again, we are expecting that to break up a little bit later on today. We can go ahead and bring in I don't like that one. Let me see it. Actually, visible satellite. Here's the visible satellite, lots of clouds around, but there is a hole in the clouds out west. That's what we're looking for later on today, hoping for some peaks of sunshine. Lillian Lasley, thanks for sharing the weather. Today is Doctor Day. Hope everything goes well there. Beverly had a Doctor Day too. All right, so that's what we have out there right now. And if you go to extolmag.com/weather, you can find me live right now. We've got our live broadcast up there. There's a 7-day forecast that I put up every day. We're going to go over the forecast here. If you're coming in late to the dance, as JK's was, we'll look at that forecast. The weather story updated this morning too. I'll talk about some more rain chances this week as we round out the month of May, and then summer-like weather on the way for next week. You've got all these different other resources and maps that you can use too. Of course, if you just want to look at some live traffic conditions and some live cameras, we've got you hooked up there with the NDOT cameras across the area, and a look at the, green is good. Obviously, a lot of us have our own traffic apps, but if you're there, you can take a peek at that. Cheers with the big happy cup here. And that is a look at 265, the Lee Hamilton just west of I-65 at the road, starting to dry out a bit after some rain earlier this morning. All right, so that is the NDOT cams there, river lake levels. Here's your interactive radar. Temperatures here in the lower 60s, so comfortably cool across Kentuckiana right now and southern Indiana. As we pull this up full screen, you can also see the rain that we just showed you. And this one actually has a little bit of a storm track on it, so it'll tell you the direction that shower is heading if it was a storm. But this is not a storm. It doesn't look like there's any lightning in it. Maximum rainfall rate saying about 3/4 of an inch per hour. It's not going to last that long, so you will not get that much. And moving northeast at 29 miles per hour. So that's the shower there. That's going to be moving between Scottsburg and Seymour, kind of clipping the Austin area there up into Jackson County, moving out of Washington County, Indiana. So you can see also the different towns that is impacting. So you can be your own meteorologist right there at extolmag.com/weather. You can also hit the play. That's going to give you the loop. You got winds, you got temperatures, and the lightning strikes if there was any lightning. Not seeing any lightning with this activity, but there you see the overall motion of those showers moving from the southwest to the northeast. So there is a look at the lightning data. Not seeing any lightning in our activity. Lightning all down to the south. So again, that is free and easy and to use. You just, with your mouse, scroll up and down to zoom in and out, move it around. And then you can see the muggy summer weather that will try to win out next week now over the south, where they are at 87 around New Orleans already. And look at all of Florida already in the mid-80s. So again, we'll see some of that heading our direction as we kick off June next week. All right, so there you go. That's what's happening out there now. I'm going to go ahead and pop back up. A look outside at the gloomy conditions. Still low clouds around the area. That is the corner of Vincennes and Market here in New Albany, Indiana. And we are going to bring back up the forecast, and we'll close it out with that. That there was not our sunrise. That was in Miami, Florida this morning, thanks to my buddy Derek. We did the bird nerd report earlier. If you missed that, these were all the birds that we saw. Left side is my backyard. Right side is Miami, Florida birds. So I would say, birds you don't normally hear: the blue-grade gnatcatcher, the eastern wood pewee, the purple martin, the eastern phoebe, and the Carolina wren. On the right side, my buddy Derek had the eastern towhee, Egyptian goose I've never heard of, the boat-tailed grackle. So that's where I'm at in life. I got high school buddies that we used to party with now sending each other bird reports from the Merlin app. That's where we're at. All right. All right, moving on. 73 degrees, that forecast high for today. Mostly cloudy, isolated shower chance, west wind at around 5 to 10. Now that these morning sprinkles are going to be fading away over the next hour or two, we're looking at only about a 30% chance of an isolated shower later on today. Sunset closing in on 9 p.m. So not all bad today. Hoping for some peaks of sunshine this afternoon. And we're looking at lower 70s for our play ball forecast. So mostly dry today. Again, that 30% chance of an isolated shower. Don't be mad if you get it, but it's going to be isolated. West wind around 5 to 10. Tonight, 61, mostly dry across the area. I think there's a chance of that evening shower. And then later on the night, we're going to be primarily dry, partly cloudy, and a light west wind. And our sunrise at 6:22. We've got Judy Tyndall. Thank you for sharing the weather. Raining in Cloverport. Yeah, I saw the light rain moving back into Breckenridge County there in Kentucky. And we've got John, how do you say your last name? Nider. Just added the Merlin app on the phone this weekend. We're getting some more bird nerds out there. We're getting a flock of the bird nerds. Man, we've got a happy Wednesday to John. All right, so we've got tomorrow's forecast up here. We're looking dry through the daytime, 78 before that rain moves in tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. High of 81 is our normal high, so we're getting closer to normal tomorrow before we see some cooler conditions move back in for Friday. I've got a 60% chance of that rain Friday. Early in the morning, we got that batch that comes in late tomorrow night and lasts into early Friday morning. I think we'll get some breaks, not a washout Friday, and then some lighter rain showers possible later in the afternoon, evening time Friday. Keep some of that rain gear handy. The umbrella is our friend for now as we finish off May. And then a weak front could give us an isolated shower Saturday, but I think a lot of the weekend will be dry, upper 70s. Warm front lifts north Sunday, perhaps a shower with that. And then again, that opens the door wide open to a summer-like pattern as June begins. We'll look at 83 Monday, 86 Tuesday, maybe pushing on the warmest temperatures we've had so far this year. Wednesday, 88 degrees. And that, again, would be right on time because typically we do hit 90 degrees by May 31st. When you look back at all the data since I think the early 1870s in Louisville, they've been collecting daily weather data, and it's all online, and you can query that data, and you can look at the mean 90 degrees or above, and that'll show you on average when we hit 90 degrees, and that is May 31st. So we're getting there. We're getting there gradually. All right, one more time, just we haven't taken a look outside. I always like to take a look at this camera before we wrap things up. This is the fallsoftheohio.org webcam, Falls of the Ohio Foundation, if you want to check that out. And again, we're all kind of looking at the same thing here this morning, and that is low clouds. You got the lush green out there. Of course, this has been a growing season that has not been lacking in rainfall whatsoever. So looking over the Falls of the Ohio and looking toward downtown Louisville here from New Albany and Clarksville. All right, we'll back out of that view right there. And one more time, just want to mention extolmag.com/weather. You can find a lot more weather information, weather resources there for you. And bringing up our partners here, ivytech.edu. Go to the Sellersburg location. You can do that in person if you would like, or you can head to locations on their website. Go to the Sellersburg landing spot. That is exit 9 up I-65. Just a few miles north of downtown Louisville. You can learn all about the campus, the academic programs offered, the classes there in Sellersburg, the partnerships and special programs they have in southern Indiana. And so if you're a prospective student, you want to make a change, they're going to meet you right where you are at. Protecting your most valuable asset, Lyons Roofing. They have a roofing repair technician job opening. If you want to learn more about that, call 812-294-3595. If you have any roofing issues still, you can get a free estimate right there. And I am learning actually more and more about that. So I've learned from working with Lyons Roofing and my buddies there that if you get hail damage, that is not an immediate need necessarily. As long as it's not leaking, they can get to that roof. It could be weeks or maybe in a month or two. It's not an emergency situation. Of course, if you've got shingles off and you got leaking, then you definitely need that roof repair ASAP. But you can learn a lot more about this, as I have been as well. Family-owned business right out of Memphis, Indiana, 812-294-3595. Or you can go to lionsroofingco.com. And speaking of a job posting, again, Lyons Roofing has a roofing repair technician opening. But if you go to libspaving.com, look at all of the job openings that you can apply for today. I'm scrolling down. Each one of these lines is a job. So there are tons there. You can see what their customers are saying. Just a great company there to work for in Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, but the biggest paving contractor around. NWSB, newwashbank.com. You can check out their website as well, or you can just head into a local branch, meet the friendly folks there, people you know wherever you go, and banking the way you want. All right, just checking over the comments as we wrap things up on this. It's been a gloomy start to the day, but we're going to try to get the power of Big Happy here to give us some sunshine later today. As we are now at 10:43. Busy week ahead in the Peine family. My daughter's got some awards at 1, Prosser graduation 5 to 6. Brady's got practice. We got sectionals that starts tomorrow, baseball sectionals. We've got some graduation parties this weekend, more sectionals, more graduation stuff next week. It's a crazy time of the year over the next couple of weeks. So bear with me as we move through it. We've got Lily and Lasley. Have a nice day today. And thank you guys for tuning in. Just looking over some of the comments in case I missed anything. All right, I think we're good there. Last look outside. And it's starting to dry things out gradually. One last look at the radar. One last look at the radar before we wrap things up. So there you can see the rad sat that we have here. So Judy was saying rain in Cloverport. So that is Breckenridge County. There you can see some of that rainfall there. This is all moving to the east and northeast. You get some rain there in Washington County, around Springfield, Kentucky, and then as we move into southern Indiana, our biggest batch of rain still up here between Brownstown and Austin, Indiana, just south of Seymour. So this is where we have some pretty good rain there. You can see down to East 250. There's Crothersville. And this is going to be moving towards the North Vernon area. You're about to get some rain here over the next 15 minutes or so as that continues to drift off to the northeast. So just some bits and pieces of rain. Again, hoping for some drier conditions and maybe some peaks of sunshine later on this afternoon. JK is in with the last comment. Thanks, Ben. Catch you on the next one. And that next one, by the way, is going to be tomorrow morning, Thursday, May the 29th. We're trying to wrap this May up. This May has been a frustrating weather-wise month. Just scattered rain, it seems like all the time, every week. So we're hoping for a much better June, as next week is starting to look summer-like and drier as well. So we'll talk more about that on Ben at 10 tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining me right here, Meteorologist Ben Peine page, or on Extol Weather on Facebook, Peine, and Extol Media on YouTube. Give us that like, that subscribe on YouTube. And then also we are on extolmag.com/weather. Wherever you're popping in from, thank you so much for watching our Ben at 10 this morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Thursday, May the 29th. Have a good one out there.